I struggled so much with anxiety, panic attacks, all due to a bad trip through mushrooms when I was 15 years old. I struggled to cope with these emotions. Throughout my life, I tried to numb it through medicines, through escape routes, also through a lot of drugs, alcohol, parties, women, work, sports, whatsoever. And this inner voice is like a roller coaster. You cannot stop. This thing happened that I started to see myself from a third person. I literally thought I was dying. This causes so much stress, so much panic inside of me, but it was so intense. I did not feel my feelings anymore. I was very difficult to think normally, to think clearly. Very uncomfortable in my own skin, so all my muscles were very tense, very freezed up. My body felt very heavy. I just started to do cocaine or amphetamine or ecstasy or whatsoever. Work.
You know that's a part where I kind of resonated with your story, because to me it was kind of the same. I started having anxiety and panic attacks when I was about 20 years old, and it opened the door for my spiritual journey to begin. Welcome to another episode of Chat Time. This is our first episode with a guest, and also is the first episode that I record in English. So it's a very special one. Today we're here in Thailand. I am traveling through Northern Thailand, and I'm spending 3 days in a retreat in silence. This is actually the first time that I'm talking after 3 days, apart from the conversation I had with you last night. This episode is very special because I met Michael last night during his guided meditation, and he was giving some background of his story, of his life story, and I resonated a lot with his path with anxiety and panic attacks. And I'll let you introduce yourself first, and just to let you know that this is going to be a casual conversation, and the purpose of the podcast is just to share wisdom and just to have casual conversation. We also have live audience here. You can see it, but we have some people around, and which is a fun experience. So yes, go ahead, man.
Hello, I'm LP Micheal. I'm 39 years old. I'm from the Netherlands. So I'm now a bit longer as a year in monkhood. And from the person that I used to be, from where I'm now at, it's very different. I struggled so much with anxiety, panic attacks, all due to a bad trip through mushrooms when I was 15 years old. Through this experience, I had a shift in my conscious. I had a dissociative disorder, and through this, I suddenly had a lot of discomfort in my own skin. I struggled to cope with these emotions, with these feelings. I didn't know how to deal with them. And throughout my life, I tried to numb it through medicines, through escape routes, also through a lot of drugs, alcohol, parties, women, work, sports, whatsoever. And nothing seemed to work. Drugs, of course, always things make it worse. And yeah, it's been my red line in my life. I traveled a lot around the world. I tried to live in different places around the world to have a good environment. But anywhere where I go, my mind comes with me. So my problems will always be with me. And so last year, 1.5 years ago, after being in rehab for 12 weeks, I decided to drastically change my life. And through a video of an American monk who also been here in Papay, he inspired me to proceed this lifestyle. And yeah, through meditation, through going inside your own mind, and to live in full surrender and acceptance, that's how I'm able to calm down the mind and to allow my feelings to be as they are. Before, especially in the world where we're from, everything is very fast. There's a lot of pressure, money pressure, social pressure, any kind of pressure. I was not able to cope with this. And only now here through meditation, through mindfulness, I went inside my own mind to really see my problems, to feel my problems. Before, I was always looking for um, ways out of this. I try to look for answers externally, never go inside myself. And I never accepted that I had anxiety. I never accepted that I had panic attacks. And especially in the Western world, we learn how to deal with our problems through logic, through thinking.
You know that that's a part where I kind of resonated with your story, because to me was kind of the same. I started having anxiety and panic attacks when I was about 20 years old, and it opened the door for my spiritual journey to begin.
Yes.
And I didn't talk about that with anyone, you know,
Yes.
not with my friends, with anyone. And after that, I realized that it was my mind the whole time doing the trick,
Yes.
you know. So I'd like you to take me to, like, how was that first panic attack that you experienced? Because you mentioned that you took some mushrooms, and that created the situation where, like,
Yes.
you were panicking. Can you walk us through how that experience was?
So yeah, it was we were. I was with two other friends. And we were bored out of our heads. And we already had some experience. We already did a lot of drugs and other stuff. We had some psychedelic experience beforehand. And we actually felt very confident in ourselves. We at that time, you think you own the world, you can do whatever. And so we bought way too much for each person. And we bought the strongest variant there was available at the time in the Netherlands. Now it's all illegal, cannot get it. It's good. But at the time, yeah, we didn't really know. We thought, okay, we kind of just have some fun. And it was pitch black. We sitting in front of a lake on a bench. One of my friends had music in his ear.
You know how much you guys took? How much mushroom?
Oh no, I don't remember those amounts, but I know that it was just way too much for each person. Yeah, once these were so very small ones, Hawaiian magic mushrooms. They're called very small but very dirty, and that is what I do remember. And yeah, it's my friend, one of my friends, he got really sick. So he actually, after maybe 40 minutes, he started to puke. So actually, most of the stuff he left his body. My other friend, he just went in his own trip in his own way. And I was sitting there by myself, and suddenly things started to move, started to change. Um, and I very fast, I started to experience that, oh, maybe it's a bit too much, too intense. And then once you go in this vicious cycle, this inner voice is like a roller coaster. You cannot stop. And I learned it through my older experiences that we cannot push this inner voice. We just have to accept. But it was so intense for me. I was not able to accept it. I was not able to let it flow normally. In a trip, it's very often that, situations are a bit challenging, or you feel a little bit, it goes up and down. It's like on waves. Sometimes it's really amazing, sometimes it goes a little bit worse. But this was overwhelming. And I think about 1.5 hour in or so, I really felt really bad.
If there's something about this conversation that feels familiar to you, or you're going through a difficult situation in life where you find a way out, I want you to know that you're not alone. Over the past year, I have helped more than 50 persons to deal with anxiety and panic attacks. That's a journey that I have personally been through alone, and now it became my mission in life purpose. At this moment, I have restructured my mentoring programs for 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. In these programs, we're going to work together to unpack your situation, understand where it comes from, transform it, and create a new life for you, your best life. If you feel this is for you, or you know someone who's in need of help, I wanted to invite you to book a free one-on-one call with me, where we are going to talk about your situation, and I will provide you some value and guidance for your life. Go click on the link in the description of this video, and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching and enjoy the episode. What was the feeling or the thought that was in your mind while you were having the panic attack?
So this thing happened that I started to see myself from a third person perspective. So I literally saw myself sitting on that bench. And when this happened, I completely lost it. I literally thought I was dying. I was about to die or whatever happens. I didn't understand. And even to this day, I don't really understand what happened. But this causes so much stress, so much panic inside of me, but it was so intense and so fast that I actually froze up. I didn't know how to deal with this at that time. Because I froze up, this is why my shift started. This is where I was not able to release the energy. Normally, if we accept things and if we let things flow naturally, then it will come back again. It will just naturally goes out of the system. But because I froze up, my body became very tense, and suddenly I start to visualize a lot of things that weren't there. And even my friends that were with me, they were doing their own thing, but I really saw them shouting at me. They were putting me down. But one of my friends, they just had their. I was listening to music. The other one was very sick, so they actually didn't talk at all. But I visualized that they were actually going at me, and I saw everything moving in the forest. It was really freaky stuff. Didn't know what to do with this. Normally, I can rationalize, it's just a trip. This time, I wasn't able to do it anymore. I wasn't able to deal with it. This completely freaked me out. I just wanted to go as fast as possible back home. And that's what I did. Yeah, very uncomfortable experience. Very uncomfortable.
I can.
Now I know a little bit how to deal with it, of course. Now if this now how would happen to me, probably I wouldn't freeze up. I would just let things happen, even though it is very intense.
So my first experience with a panic attack was a similar experience, but with cannabis. I smoked some cannabis, but that was not the first time that I had done it, right? And then I am laying on my couch, and I felt like how I kind of like left my body, and like my body was left in the couch, and that sensation just freaked the fuck out of me. Like I was, what is going on? And after that, like I started panicking, and I didn't know what was going on. And then like that whole night, even after like 2 4 hours that the effect is supposed to be gone, I was still in like that kind of mindset. And that remained with for like a whole year. So like I would have constant panic attacks on a daily basis, especially after sunset. Like night to me was triggering. Like I couldn't see the sunset because I thought, okay, like this is coming. The monster is coming to me. I am wondering like how after that first experience you continued having panic attacks, and like how that affected your daily life after that.
So this is only what I know now. I tried to figure out how this was possible for many, many years. So I went back home and I tried to sleep it off, because in my experience beforehand, if I sleep it off next day, everything is fine. It's no big deal. But this time it was very different. I did sleep very fast, actually. I do remember. But the next day when I woke up, things were very different. I had this blur in front of my eyes. Suddenly I was not able to see for my feeling the reality anymore. I did not feel my feelings anymore. I was very difficult to think normally, to think clearly. Very uncomfortable in my own skin. So all my muscles were very tense, very freezed up. My body felt very heavy. That's what I remember. Also, to go outside of the house suddenly was a very big deal. I was always quite a social person. I love to play football outside of the house, go see my friends whatsoever. Suddenly, all these things were suddenly a big deal. It was a very big resistance that I had to overcome on a daily basis. And now, once I go into big busy areas, for instance, like a grocery store or to go to school, suddenly this crowd made me panic. I was not able to walk in a crowd, or also being in big areas with a roof. That I felt like I'm caged up. In the open air was all right. It was not too bad, but especially in
close
schools,
environments, yeah.
close
And like,
environments.
when was the second panic attack after that first one?
Oh, probably the next day, I think. I don't completely remember what I did the next day, but I had to go back to school in that week. Once I remember that we always cycled with some friends to school, and once I entered the school, it's a very big building. There's all the people are there. We walk inside, and I felt very uncomfortable. Suddenly, I felt like everybody's watching me, and that everybody's paying attention to me. That
Kind of
kind
like a paranoia.
paranoia. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, very much paranoia. Yeah. Also, I saw things moving, shifting. So also my visuals were not completely okay. And this triggered me. This caused a panic attack, and then I just went outside as fast as I could, outside of the school.
And how
Uh,
constant was that? How constant you were having panic attacks or paranoia?
on a daily basis, nearly every day. But over time, I started to learn how to deal with it. So, but still, on stressful moments, it triggered me. So, for instance, if I have to do an exam, or I also remember with football. You know, football. I used to play so much football. It was my biggest hobby. Even if I played pretty high for an amateur, but if I had the ball in my feet, and once the guys came at me, then suddenly I already started to panic very fast. And also in school, when there was too many people, too crowded, or I get attention or something, then I felt like, wow, everything is at me. Then it triggered also. Or sometimes we had to go in front of the class to write something on the board.
You
I
were
feel very
how old? How
uncomfortable.
old were you at that
15,
time?
15,
15-year old.
16.
Wow,
Yeah, 15, 16.
really young.
Yeah,
Really,
very young.
really young.
Yes.
And like you wouldn't have any background of mental health or any space where you could talk to someone about this.
So I didn't really talk much about feelings at home, at where I'm from. It's
You're
not
from
very
the
common.
Netherlands, right?
Netherlands, yes.
From what part?
South, Eindhoven.
Okay, I was in Amsterdam and Rotterdam, and
Ah,
that's
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
that area.
Yes.
So yeah.
So yeah, we didn't really talk about feelings back home. And also with my friends, I did not. Only at a later stage. After many years, I started to talk a little bit. But still, I did not. Why? When I was 17 years old, I started to ask for help. First, I didn't acknowledge the bad trip. I thought it was something else. I mean, yeah. So I did have a bad relationship with my dad. I really was, in my mind, he was always verbally aggressive towards, especially towards my mom. And I used to have so much anger towards him. Together with, on a very young age, starting to smoke weed and all the other kind of drugs, I think this enforced the whole thing. Eventually, this panic attack is an outcome of all the aggression,
Yeah.
the tension built in myself.
Emotions,
And
like
yes,
on unprocessed
yes.
emotions. And how was that first moment when you say, okay, I to ask for help, and what took you to do it, and with what method?
So I was very uncomfortable. I never really asked for help. Even right now, yeah, sometimes, but now I really don't need any help. But I was very stubborn, and I always thought, I can solve everything by myself. And also with this, but at some point after probably this 1, 2 years into this problem that I have, nothing changed. Sure, I was able to cope with it a little bit better, but
You were
still
functional, yeah.
functional. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Boy, I was not able to cope with it. Even at the time, I started to use a lot of parties, a lot of drugs, alcohol to numb myself, and I knew that is not the way out.
You have other panic attacks while doing other drugs as well, or like,
Yes, definitely.
and like why you kept in that loop? Like, wouldn't that scare you to say, "Oh, I need to stop"?
Hmm. So that's why I did so much alcohol. And I still like to smoke weed. I still like to do all the other kinds of stuff.
Mm.
But alcohol, I always numb myself. I always started with alcohol. Then I smoke a joint, and then I did all the other stuff. But if I say, for instance, if I was sober and I just started to do cocaine or amphetamine or ecstasy or whatsoever, then this definitely could trigger a panic attack very easy.
Mm.
But I always started with alcohol. This is the basis.
Mm.
And after this, then things will come up,
Mm.
the other stuff. The alcohol always took care of the panic attacks.
Mm.
And not myself to that degree that I wouldn't have it.
Mm. So the
But only the days afterwards.
so
Yes,
the
very much.
alcohol would kind of like regulate the
Yes.
panic attacks.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. But like while having the panic attack, you would just like get alcohol and that will calm you down, or how was the process?
Sometimes, yes. If I was in the opportunity, then yeah, even at school, sometimes I drank very strong beers, very secretly, of course, and I wouldn't show it to anybody.
Mm.
But at some point, I discovered this drug, GHB, and
What
this
is that?
GHB, it's also a tranquilizer. It's a little bit similar to alcohol, but it's for me it really numb me much better.
So did you drink it or?
So it's also a liquid form. You mix it with I mix it with lemonade and drink it like that. But the problem is the dosage is very. You have to be very careful with the dosage. A little bit too much, or you fall asleep. In my case, I didn't fall asleep. I actually became crazy. I just did many crazy stuff. Often I just took off my clothes. I started to run
Wow.
around naked, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, I didn't care. And also
That was in
yeah,
the Netherlands.
in the Netherlands.
Still at 15-year old.
This is 17.
17. Wow,
17.
man. Wow.
So
like
for me, yeah, the GHB was at that time was for me the best drug, the best medicine, because I felt very social with this drug on me, and it numbed myself so much that I did not feel any panic attack or whatsoever. But at the same time, GHB only lasts for 1/2 hour, sometimes maybe 2 hours, and then you have to take another dose. And if you take the second dose, it's already risky because the stuff is still in the body. And if you take a second dose, then there's a big chance that you
OD,
overdose.
yeah.
Yes. And this is a loop
So
every day.
I am trying to picture the situation, right? So you were 17,
Yes.
you were with your parents at that
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
and like how you managed to, because based on what you said last night, they didn't know
No, I
about
didn't know.
this, and like
No.
how you managed to do all of these crazy stuff, and your parents done knowing about that.
So most of the time I was with my friends, and yeah, I was most of the time I was out of the house. Inside the house, I didn't do so much drugs. Once I was inside the house, I just locked myself up. I had my own bungalow, so I already was able to have a private life at the bungalow at the back of the garden. So my parents didn't know what was happening. I did not say anything about what was happening.
Wow.
I was able to lie, deceive, and manipulate very easy. This is, of course, this for many people who are struggling with addiction. It becomes second nature. So, and I was able to have this double life, really. And yeah, also, my friends, they were most of the time they were with me, and also I had many times that I overdosed with this kind of stuff, and that I became very crazy. They knew that there was something wrong at that time, but still, it was so common. so common at the time in the Netherlands,
Oh
and
yeah.
also around me. It's very common.
To do
Everybody
what?
to
To
do the GHB, to
Mm.
party hard, and we had days that we just partied for 5 days straight or whatsoever. And sometimes we didn't sleep for the weekends. Sometimes we didn't sleep for many days. And even if I went to school, I just was out of it. Yeah, very common.
Yeah, man,
It's
that's
not.
a,
It's not something that it is so crazy. At least, yes. Now, if I talk about it, I
I,
think it's
I
so.
mean, yeah, it sounds like a really wild life.
Yeah.
And now that I see you here
Mm,
with this
yeah.
outfit being a monk,
Mm,
like I know that was a long journey that you took us through last night. But I don't want you to go through the whole story, but
mm,
I like to know when was the point when you say, okay, this is it? Because I know that you kind of lost your mind and
yeah.
like you were out of control with your body and how or when was a moment where you said, okay, this is it. I need to stop and start a new life.
So had a couple of these moments, and the first big moment was yeah, when I was 21 years old or something like this. 21. I broke off with my girlfriend at that time. I crashed a couple of cars. I really did not enjoy the work I was doing at the time. I did some construction labor, yeah, making concrete. Um, Also, yeah, I didn't see any point anymore of being there in the Netherlands doing the same thing all over and over again. And at the time, the GHB usage was very high. I wasn't able to function without it anymore. I wasn't able to sleep without it. And also, yeah, my body started to feel really bad. And this was the point that I said, okay, now I have to change something. Now I have to change my life. And that's why I decided to go to Australia to make this. But there's many moments in my life like this.
Mm.
It's also when I came back after Australia, back to the Netherlands. I really thought, I changed. Now I'm able to face the drugs, face all the parties, but very fast I was back in the same loop again. The one thing I did learn is that I didn't go back to the GHB. So this was for me a very big trigger, a very big addictive problem. So I didn't go back to that. But there were so many other different drugs that I used in the meantime. Um, but yeah, the real big change was when I lost everything. And this is 1.5 years ago. So in January 2024, so I lost my job. I also crashed my car again, scooter. I lost my apartment. I lost my girlfriend. I was about to lose my friends also. They say now it's time to fix yourself up. And my parents, they were very worried about me. I had a suicide attempt, and because of all of this, it was like, okay, I literally have nothing now, not much left anymore. So this was my wake up call, and also my body was in a really bad way. My mind was in a really bad way. I was not able to walk properly anymore. I was shaking very
That
badly.
was after South Africa or
Oh, it is
before?
before, just a month before, 1.5 months before South Africa.
Just for context,
Yeah,
he went to South Africa to like a rehab for
yeah,
for how long was that?
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
Yes,
So this was before South Africa
yes, yes,
that you lost like your friends, family, and all of that.
yes,
So that was a point where you say, okay, I need to change this. Or
yes.
after rehab, you said, okay,
So first, of course, I tried to be sober. After rehab, I implemented everything that I learned in rehab in my daily life. I went to all the meetings. I surrounded myself with the positive people, the people who are in recovery. Yeah, I applied everything, the 12 steps, very much in contact with the people in recovery. I had some very good friends I made also in rehab, really good. But at the same time, my mind after some time, this inner voice started to get back at me again. Became very harsh at myself, very anxious, and this anxiety feeling became so intense again that the feeling of panic attack started to arise again. And instead of feeling very confident when I just arrived back in the Netherlands after rehab, I was very confident. I felt like I can do everything that I want. But then this inner voice started to go back at me again. And when this happened, spoke about probably 2-3 months or so. And I started to realize, okay, I have to change something really drastically. Because if I have to live like this with this inner voice constantly for the rest of my life, what's the point? I'm not gonna do this. I will go back to drugs. I will go back to do something.
So I'm curious. Your first panic attack was at 15, right?
Yes.
And like this happened at 37, 36 years
Yes.
old?
So this is 1.5 year ago, and it was January. So I went to rehab on the 23rd of February in 2024. I came back at the end of May, and I went to Thailand in the middle of August.
So that's more than 20 years.
23 years, I think, yeah.
So during all that time,
Yes.
you were having constant panic attacks in
Yes.
those 20 years.
So it goes a little bit like this. So, for instance, in Australia, it was a bit easier because I felt free. I was very anxious. I was also very aggressive at the time. I was very short temper. So especially, if people just say something wrong to me, then I'll fire up very fast. But I was able to deal with my panic attacks, with my anxiety through alcohol. And also in Ireland, where I lived for a bit longer as 2 years, also alcohol was the main thing. A lot of alcohol. But these phases go a little bit, sometimes a little bit better, sometimes a little bit worse. But throughout my life, I had this. Throughout my life, and most of the time it was just so uncomfortable, very hard to bear. Every day felt like I had to walk up Mount Everest. Very big effort. Things were not effortless. Now things are very much effortless, are very easygoing. But at that time, everything was very tough. Even just waking up, hearing the alarm, to go outside of the bed was a very big task. Go to the shower was a very big task. To go to work was a very big task. And then together with all the anxiety, the discomfort, the social pressures, because at the same time I was able to maintain all my friends, family. I was able to be socially very active. But everything was took a lot of energy.
I guess so.
Very, very big mask that I wear.
So after that point where like your family found out when you overdosed, when you tried to do suicide,
Yes.
that was when your family found out about all you were
Yes.
going through, your
Yes.
addictions and all of that. So after that point, you went to rehab and then
Yes.
you went back to home and
Yes.
you couldn't leave, right? So like you said, I need to live here. So you came to Thailand.
Rehab was 1.5 year ago. But when I was 21, at that time, this was in 2008. This
You
is
came with
when
your girlfriend and like you, right?
So this is this is when when I was 21, 22 or so, 2008, I decided to go to Australia. And rehab is recently, or at least recently is.
So I'd like to know like what was the moment when you said I am going back to Thailand and live
Yes.
as a monk.
So yes, this was when I was back in the Netherlands. Was 2024 in between May. I probably it was in June or July 2024. I had this very deep anxiety again. I felt very comfortable in my own skin. And then I saw this video of LP Nick, an American monk who has a YouTube channel, actually very helpful.
Lupi means what again?
Lupi and Nick.
No, Lupi
Oh,
means
brother
the
monk.
Brother
Monk.
monk.
Yes, we say that to each other, to monks. People say it to us, brother monk.
LP Micheal. Yes.
Yes.
You found Lupinik.
Lupinik. Yes. So, and he also struggled with a lot of anxiety. Yeah, he showed that he looked like he made the world. He had everything in America, the American dream. Yet he suffered so much inside of himself, and he also didn't really talk about much about this. He didn't know how to fix this. I was able to relate with him, and through my own experience, through meditation, when I stayed here in the Thai temple for 1.5 months, it started to make sense to me to start to perceive this life, to give it a try at least. And then I came in the middle of August 2024. I came here to Thailand and I started at I monastery. But the first, first I was the plan was that I would arrive the 29th of August in Chiang Mai. So I would, on the 1st of September, I would go to the I monastery and start the academy, the training. But because of an incident back home, I had a massive fight with my dad. I switched all my flights and I came 1 week earlier here to Thailand. So in the meantime, I partied very hard.
In Thailand.
Yes, in Thailand. The first week before monkhood, I lost it completely.
Where in Bangkok or
No, in Chiang Mai.
In Chiang Mai?
Also one night in Bangkok, but also I actually arrived there in the Aya Monastery with a very big hangover.
No way.
Yeah, I felt completely wrecked.
Paris here in Thailand are wild, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I've heard.
Yeah. So yeah, I relapsed there, and but now as a monk, no problem.
So that first moment of you being back here as a monk in like your monk journey, how was that first experience that made you say, I am gonna stay here?
So for me, it's actually quite easy. So for me, if I go back to the Netherlands, at that time in the beginning of my monkhood, and I thought, why? There's no point. If I go back, I'm gonna feel miserable. I'm gonna feel anxious. There's nothing back home that's waiting for me. So, and the first couple of months, I struggled with meditation. I struggled with monkhood. I had to adapt to the culture. It's very different. Also, meditation was not easy for me. I had a couple of panic attacks while I was doing meditation, but through my own experience, by able to go into acceptance instead of looking for answers, what most people try to do, they always try to look for answers, like to rationalize everything. But if it comes to our feelings, to our experiences, through the body, how we perceive things, we cannot. And this is a very big problem in the Western world. We try to rationalize everything. Once we learn how to let go of this and just accept our feelings, accept whatever happens, then acceptance arises. This is not through thinking, okay, and now I'm gonna accept everything. It's not gonna change anything. It is from meditation experience, from going inside yourself, from doing the mindfulness practice. And I learned this the first month by surrendering and just let things happen in a natural way. Doesn't mean that it will become easier, that I don't feel uncomfortable anymore. Yes, a lot of times that the discomfort arises. I just accepted this.
Yeah, so like that's easier said than done.
Definitely.
So like
Definitely.
you say accept it and like just let go, but how could you tell to someone that might be listening, how is that acceptance and letting go process? Like
Yes.
how that looks like?
So at first, need to develop awareness. And awareness, the fastest way to cultivate this, to make this stronger, is through meditation. And there's many forms of meditation. There's many meditation techniques, many objects. What, in my experience, for me, the breathing works the best. But this is for me personally. For first one has to be able to stay in the present moment. Very important. And awareness on an object is already present moment. This has to become stronger, 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 stronger. And then you go deeper inside of yourself. Then stillness arises. Stillness arises through awareness. Then through this stillness, you start to actually heal yourself. And you start to detach from your thoughts, from your feelings, from the experiences. It is, this stillness is already acceptance. This stillness is already surrender. And once we learn how to put the focus back into ourselves, into the stillness instead of outside, this is transformation. But yeah, especially when you have to go back to work or in this busy world where we live in, there's so much distraction. It's very hard to constantly bring you back to the stillness. That's why every day practice, every day meditation.
How long
mindfulness.
it took you to get to that stillness? Because I have been doing meditation for like 10 years now.
Yes.
And this weekend it's been a struggle. Like it's been really hard for me to be in like a meditative state of mind.
Yes.
So much thoughts going on, and trying to be focused in one single point.
Yes.
Right? It's been really hard to me.
Yes.
Even after like 10 years of
Yes.
practice. So I'm curious, how long did that take you after you came back here?
Yes.
To say, okay, I found stillness.
Yes. It's a gradual process, of course. But I would say within a half a year, I was able to get to that point, and throughout the day, I was able to be in the stillness. So in the beginning, it's a lot of repetition. It's the mind is very chaotic, and at first, I didn't know how to deal with this. But I have to say that I have been reading Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, the first time 16 years ago or so, something like this. I read also some other books about spirituality. At first, I didn't really understand this, but over the years, I read The Power Now and A New Earth of the book of Eckhart Tolle a couple of times, and every time when I read this, it started to make more sense. And because of this book, I was able to understand a little bit how to live in the present moment, how to live in acceptance and surrender to things. So before monkhood, I already had some practice. I already knew a little bit. And then especially the first 3 months or so, we did around 4, 6, sometimes 8 hours of meditation a day.
Straight or?
No, not straight, in sessions.
Wow.
But for me, I try to go as fast as possible. And also, this is a big conflict. I really wanted to go as fast as possible into the stillness. And
it took
this
like
one to
3 months for you to like.
So about to really be able to be in the stillness properly throughout the day, probably around a half a year.
Wow.
Half a year of many hours of meditation.
Daily.
Yes. So the most important, this is the single most important thing, that use one meditation object throughout the day. Even so, for me, this was my breathing. So even when I was around here, or when I was at the I Monastery, every time when I catch myself being distracted, even if I look into my phone, even if I am on my laptop, even if I read a book, every time when I catch myself getting outside of there, fantasize, think about the future, think about the past, whatsoever, I use the breathing as my anchor point, bring it back. And this practice, this is what transforms. This is what cultivates awareness. This is the single most important thing. And this is what you can do every moment, every single situation, even right now. Just be mindful of your breathing constantly. Am I outside? Bring it back. At some point, the mind becomes so strong, it becomes automatic. And this is where a real big change start to happen. Once this spiritual muscle is so strong that being in the present moment is automatically. yes, in the beginning, to make this muscle so strong, it takes a lot
time,
of
yeah.
effort.
Mm.
Really, it takes. And there's many people like you. They do for many years meditation, but they forget to apply this in their daily life.
Mm.
To really transform oneself, you have to be mindful of every situation, every single time. Every time when you lose yourself in your thoughts, bring it back to an object.
Mm.
Doesn't matter what the object is, can be anything.
Mm.
It's all about the awareness.
Okay.
And because, yeah, still sitting with the eyes closed, doing meditation for what, half an hour a day, definitely beneficial. But it's not going to transform anything.
Mm.
To apply this awareness in your daily life, sitting meditation with the eyes closed is good to make the muscle stronger. But you want to transform this through your own experiences throughout the day.
Take it to your own life. I
Yes,
understand.
yes.
And
So yeah,
yeah. So now just to start closing up, right? Because we have like 5 minutes left. I'd like to know: do you feel that you are cured from panic attacks and anxiety?
so sometimes there's still a little bit of anxious energy within myself, but now I don't react anymore, and it's okay if it is there. But over the time, probably within a half year, maybe a year or so, this will be completely gone. As long as I don't feed this energy anymore, it will start to go away, disappear. So I still, some of my muscles are a bit tense, but in compare with 1 year ago, it's a complete different world. So I'm not fully cured yet, but for 90% I can say yes.
Mm.
So, and this is already a massive change. Now I'm sitting in front of people. Before, I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Even also when I came here to Pape, to have so many people around, it really frightened me.
Mm.
Suddenly, to have all these different nationalities talking English the whole time, and so many people around constantly.
Mm.
Yeah, I was not very comfortable. Then I start doing the tours.
Mm.
Just sometimes 3, 4 people showing around the place. I was very insecure,
Mm.
very uncomfortable in front of people, even though there were only 3, 4 people. Very uncomfortable. But acceptance,
Mm.
through acceptance, I was able to slowly let go. And then over time, start doing the sessions, the evening chanting, morning chanting.
Which
Then
is
start doing this.
insane, and
Mm,
I saw you doing the chanting, and you know word by word, and it's like 10 pages or more. So like
mm.
that was really highlight and something that really impressed me. So man, what are your plans? Just as a final question, I heard that you wanted to kind of like go back to society and like go back to the Netherlands.
Mm.
How do you see yourself in the future in 5 years, out of monkhood, or
Yes.
still being in monkhood but being in society?
So how I think now, I still I like to think that I will be back in the Netherlands. Maybe set up a retreat by myself, but outside of monkhood.
Mm.
To be a Buddhist monk in the Netherlands is very difficult.
So this is just like a experience you wanted to have in life for like a few years, and then just leave it
Yes.
and go back and take it with you
So yes, yes. So I really came here to first help myself,
to heal. Yeah.
to heal myself, and to make myself as strong as I can. And now at this point in time, I don't have to go back home. But if something happens to some friends, to family, they get sick or whatsoever, I will go back. And I still see myself here another couple of years. Um, what is very hard for me to say, like Lupikal, he probably will be monk for life. And some people can say already, maybe they will be monk for life. For me, I still have a lot of attachments. I want to be a better person back home, and I want to, instead of and now I want to give something back to the people that I care of. And also I think there's a lot of need in the Netherlands
Mm.
for meditation. People don't know there is a way out.
Mm.
There's many people also in my surroundings, they struggle with addictions, with anxiety, depressions, so much stress. They don't know. And I think through this experience, through my life experience, and through my experience as a monk, that I can maybe make a change for some people
Interesting,
back
man.
home. Um, Yeah, monkhood is amazing. Maybe next year I say I will be a monk for life. But for now, I still like to have in my thoughts. In the future I want to have a girlfriend, maybe a family, and I also like to enjoy the beautiful things of life. And now with this stillness inside of me, I'm very confident that I can.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Really, it's inspiring because there might be people there that don't know about monkhood and like what the journey is, or like if once you are in it, like you're there for life, you know. So
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
it's not the case. So
No, it's here in Thailand. Sometimes also the Thai people they just ordain for a couple of weeks, sometimes for a couple of months. And if some Thai people really like it, they ordain for life. But they don't say, "Oh, I'm gonna stay monk for life." It's a development. And maybe this is also for me the case. Maybe next year my mind, because I know my mind is constantly changing. The more I let go, the more relaxed I become, the more I detach from everything. And maybe in the future, also the attachment of going back home or the attachment of having a girlfriend or whatsoever start to go away too. And then it makes sense that I will be monk for life, maybe. But I'm not that far yet. I'm still a baby monk.
understand. So man, just close up. Where can people find you if you ever go back to society? If they want to connect with you, you were not allowed to have like social medias and none of
Yeah,
that.
we are allowed. Well, I personally I don't have any social media. But yeah, if you want to see me, come here to Copenhagen. Yeah, enjoy
Yes,
monk.
yes. This is a beautiful place, and yeah, just a final message that you want to share with the people listening.
So the most important thing is that if you want to look for happiness, don't look at externally. Go inside of yourself. This might be a very challenging journey. There's many things on this path that might not be comfortable. But once you learn to accept, once you allow things to be, once your awareness start to grow and you go inside of yourself, then everything that you ever looked for is already there. You don't need any more validation. You don't need any more materialism to make yourself whole. It is already within us, in everyone. And you can relieve yourself of most mental problems that we have. It's all created by this inner voice in ourselves. But we are not aware of this. And through meditation, through mindfulness practice, everyone is able to get there.
Beautiful, man. Thank
Welcome,
you,
welcome.
thank you.
Now I'm going to the next session.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
let's
it's
go.
already late.
Let's go.